Hello and welcome to this first lecture video of the Fall 2020 online COVID-19 edition of Meteorology 107, Severe and Hazardous Weather. My name is John Teal and I'm really looking forward to teaching this class this semester. I want to start out by just wishing you a warm welcome. It's halfway through probably one of the craziest semesters of your entire academic career. Maybe you have to batch last spring and next spring in with it, but again, hopefully this particular course won't be too difficult of an extra workload on top of you. That'll be fun and you'll get something useful out of it. The main thing I want to stress in this first video, and again, if this is the one thing you have to take away, it's this: Canvas. Everything in this class is going to be routed through Canvas. I'm going to be using the announcements feature. Anything that I need to get a hold of you all about is going to be through the Canvas announcements. Modules is where you're going to get to all of the course content. Quizzes and discussion, those are your primary forms of being assessed to be graded in the class in order to complete it. The home page is where the syllabus is going to be. And again, Canvas, it's where it's all going to happen. That's the main point I want to stress. Going into some of those syllabus details, just to cover the basics, to get those logistical items out of the way. It is a 1-credit class, second half semester, so hopefully if you're watching this video the week of October 5th, you've realized that. It is online only. There will be zero in-person components. All the lectures are going to be asynchronous, meaning I'll be recording these videos, shooting for about 15 minutes a piece, 4 of them a week, for about 1 hour of lecture content every week. They'll be uploaded to YouTube and made available on Canvas. The course itself is going to be covering the atmospheric processes that play a role in creating severe and hazardous weather, talking about the basics of meteorology, so you have a good foundation so we can talk about actual severe and hazardous weather phenomena in the later portion of the course. We'll be talking about the most common of those hazards with a particular emphasis on those that happen in the central United States, in Iowa. Not to be exclusive, a lot of these things will be happening all around the world, but since this is an Iowa State University course, that's where our primary emphasis is going to be. We'll be talking about the impacts that those severe weather phenomena have on life and property, as well as what things you should do as far as safety when you come and encounter these types of hazards, as well as for a few things like tornado, severe wind, and hail, how to report the occurrence of these if they come your way to the National Weather Service so that you can improve their operations in helping to protect lives and property. And overall, this course is meant to be an easy and fun introductory course. Again, just 1 credit, 100 level course, but it's not meant to just be fun. We have to actually learn something in the course. The main thing is that takeaway knowledge, that you know how to respond safely for yourself and those in your care so that you can actually preserve yourself when these hazards come your way. And so going into this course, what you need is a fairly minimal background that you need and things you actually need for the course. There isn't any required textbook. All of the materials you need will be on Canvas. The one thing that you do need to have is a reliable computer with an internet connection to get to Canvas, basically. Because that's where the discussion posts and quizzes are going to be, so make sure your browser supports those. As well as viewing YouTube lectures, that's how all these videos are going to be posted, as well as a few optional things. I'll have a survey at the very end of this video to decide the platform for these things, but I'll be hosting office hours over some video conferencing platform, and there'll be an informal place for having discussions and sharing weather pictures and just that general realm of an informal discussion place. We want your computer to be able to support those if you're interested in participating in them. And again, the platforms for those we'll be deciding on based on a survey I'll address at the end of this video. Coming in, there's no prerequisites, no Iowa State university level courses that you need to have coming in. But, so we're not building up from the very foundations of knowledge. I am going to assume that you have at least a background of high school level physics and chemistry, so that if I say things like ideal gas law, forces, temperature units, all of those kind of things you have somewhat of a background on, so I can start bringing them into a meteorological context and talking about how they impact severe and hazardous weather. If you're rusty on any of those areas, hopefully there'll be enough background in the video. And if it really is an area of struggle, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I want to be able to help. We'll get you resources that you need to get you up to speed and see what's best way of going forward there. Also, there won't be any math exercises, so don't be scared about the mathematics of this class. Even though meteorology, once you get to higher levels, is a very math-heavy discipline, this course, we're just going to rely on conceptual understanding, not actually calculating things and deriving relationships in that. That being said, some pre-calculus level background, so things like area under curve or between curves, will come in handy, as well as just converting between different quantities and units will just make some of the understanding easier. If the math presents any difficulty from that conceptual level, please do let me know. We'll do our best to work through it together. So a little bit about myself, just to let you know and put it out there. My name is Jonathan Thielen, normally go by John. Refer to me with he and him. I'm not a doctor or professor, so don't need to use those titles. If you have to use a title based on your experience, I mean, Mr. Thielen, if you have to, but again, I prefer John. I'm totally good and happy for you to just call me John in your communications. I'm from Buffalo, Minnesota, on the northwest side of the Twin Cities, so Midwest, born and raised. And I've been interested in the weather and computer technology from childhood. I've always loved tinkering on a computer, going outside, enjoying storms coming past, and all of that, which led me to here, Iowa State. I graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Meteorology and Mathematics here in 2019 and continued on for graduate study for my master's degree, working as a research assistant with Dr. Bill Gallis. If you're aware of our department at all, you might have heard his name before. He's a big severe weather person in our department, as well as Dr. Andy Van Lukey. My two projects, and again, not needed for this course, but I love talking about them, so feel free to reach out if you're interested, want to know more. First project, working with machine learning, classification of severe storm systems, and the second is improved weather modeling, numerical models that we do to predict the weather of the boundary layer, which is the lowest level of the atmosphere where you get turbulent interactions with the surface. Again, those are things I'm really interested in. Feel free to reach out to me if you happen to be as well, but not needed to worry about for this course. So, speaking of the course, back to the actual content. This is the overall tentative schedule that we're planning on having. The first 3 weeks are going to be building up a foundation of knowledge so that you actually know what you need to know about meteorology, so that when you actually talk about how these hazards come about, what affects their strength and intensity and their impacts, it all makes sense. So we start with basic properties, things pressure, temperature, stability, and all their interactions. Then we go about how we actually analyze weather, how we go from measurements and we plot things and look at meteorological things, as well as predicting them through computer models. Just the very basics of all of that. And then going into week 3, where we actually talk about how we synthesize all these things and look at them together, talking about the different scales on which weather happens, the main meteorological phenomena that a lot of these things build off of are air masses, fronts, and large-scale weather systems, until finally getting into the meat of the course, the actual hazards that this severe and hazardous weather course is talking about. Extreme heat and drought, severe thunderstorms, and within that, tornadoes, floods, tropical cyclones, as well as winter storms and extreme cold. And you notice this last little bit here, finals week, we won't have a final, but we will have a final project. Again, those details you can find on the syllabus, and I'll briefly touch right here in our assignments and grading section. The largest portion of your grade for this course is going to be on weekly quizzes. They'll be due every week, Saturdays, 11:59 p.m. Central Time. There'll be about 10 to 15 questions with a exactly 15-minute time limit, one attempt. The roughly comes into the number of questions. If you have a need for accommodations on longer time limit, please reach out to me. I know several of you already have. We'll make sure that you have the time that you need to complete these quizzes. But the standard time limit is going to be 15 minutes. The final project is going to be worth 30% of your grade. It's due at the very end of the course, at the end of finals week on Wednesday, November 25th. And it's going to be creating a resource that can be shared with the general public to educate them about the safety and background and the meteorological information that you learned in this course about a particular severe weather hazard. All the details on that final project will be coming in the 4th week of class. If you want a brief summary of it, it's available on the syllabus right now. And finally, 25% is a weekly discussion post. These are where I want you to just engage with the content a little bit, go find something on your own to share with the class. This could take many different forms week to week. Some weeks it will be finding a link to an article. Some will be just a picture, maybe a video, as well as some kind of explanation or discussion to go with it that you post. And almost all weeks will also require you to respond to one of your classmates in some way. This first week, I'll get into in a little bit, is a little bit different. The one main requirement I want to stress right away with these weekly discussion posts is a unique content requirement. I don't want you copying the exact thing that someone else has already posted. Again, for example, this week's is post a picture of your favorite weather phenomena. Doesn't have to be a severe hazard. It could be rainbows. But so feel free if your favorite is rainbow and your classmate's favorite is also rainbow, that's okay. Just find your own pictures, maybe even your own pictures that you take, and that would be wonderful if it's something that you took yourself. But don't copy from one of your classmates. And if you accidentally post the same exact content, I'll just reach out to you to try finding an alternative resource to cover the same type of thing. And again, more details, the exact details on all this, including late policy, is on the class syllabus on Canvas. And any questions, feel free to just direct to me. What each week, this is what I plan to have the course structured as. Again, 4 lecture videos. I plan on posting them staggered out so that I can prepare them staggered out to address any questions that come up over the course of the week as needed. The discussion posts and what the reply, if it is going to be needed, is going to be posted on Sunday this first week. That's already been done. The quizzes will always be posted by Monday at the end of the day at the latest. My goal is to have them up beginning Monday, but that may not always happen. But again, commitment, always by the end of the day Monday. Tuesday is again 3rd lecture video, and that series is going to come out. I'll also be holding the first weekly session of office hours on Tuesdays, except for the first week, because we won't have the platform decided yet by then. Again, survey at the end of this video. Wednesday, the final lecture video will be posted, and most weeks, this is when your initial discussion post is going to be due. The first week is an exception to this because there's no reply needed for the first discussion post. So that is actually just going to be due on Saturday this first week. But most weeks, this is your first deadline, your first due date. Thursday, I'll hold another session of office hours. Again, time and format to be determined. Friday is, if you want to use Friday to get any of your stuff done, great. But Saturday is when our main deadlines of this course are always going to be. Quizzes, always going to be 11:59 p.m. Central Time. Saturdays, including prep week. So there is a quiz due on the Saturday that comes right after prep week. Required to state that in the syllabus, and you'll find it there. As well as any weeks where we have a discussion post that has a reply, that's when the reply is going to be due as well. The goal of this, as I stated before, staggering the lecture videos so that I can adapt to any questions that you have, as well as always allowing you at least 3 days to get your discussion post in and your quiz after the last lecture video. If these details don't work out for the class, please let me know, and I'm totally willing to adjust this schedule for the lecture videos and when these are posted to put them up earlier. What will stay fixed, though, is most of your discussion posts, when you have a post and a reply, the post will be due on Wednesday to give enough time for the reply, as well as the quiz and the final reply, the discussion post, being due on Saturdays to keep a weekly cycle going. So to address where we're at right now at the end of this video and what's coming up next, that first discussion post on introducing yourself a little bit, why you're interested in taking this class, and your favorite weather phenomena, that's already been posted to Canvas, and some of you have already, before I put together this video, have already done it, which is great. But if you're one of the people, like I am sometimes, that puts things off to the last minute, it's not due until Saturday, so feel free to take whatever time that you need. Again, this first discussion post due on Saturday. Once we get to week 2, when the discussion posts will have replies required, to be fair to your classmates, to give enough time, those will start becoming due on Wednesdays instead. The quiz and the second lecture video, actually getting into the content of the course as an introduction to what is severe and hazardous weather. My plan is to have that posted by the end of the day on Monday, which is tomorrow as the time I'm putting together this video, so that you can proceed with that. Again, the quiz will touch on things that will also be covered in the later lecture videos 3 and 4, so feel free to wait to take the quiz. If you're confident, I'm not going to stop you from taking the quiz early. But again, it's 15 minutes, 1 attempt only. I also ask you to read the syllabus on Canvas. Reach out to me via email or on the Q&A if you don't mind it being public on Canvas with any questions you have about the syllabus, about the course, anything like that. The main favor I would ask for emails is that you start the header with MTEOR 107. That way it flags, I get a particular notification for those so that I can fulfill the promise I said in the syllabus of 24 hours, you'll get a reply during weekdays, 48 hours during weekends. But again, I request that you start it with this so it flags my notifications. And the last thing to end this video is the survey I've been referencing multiple times before. Given the past semester-ish that we've been doing this hybrid learning thing, you probably have some platforms that you really like and that you really don't like for doing video conferencing and chat and discussions and all of that. Yes, we're going to be doing Canvas for the graded discussions. We have to do that in order to keep the grading consistent. But for anything that's informal, asking Q&A, and again for office hours, I want you all to let me know what platforms work best for you. So I put together this survey. Please fill it out by Wednesday at noon so that I can compile the results, hopefully pick the least bad option amongst what's decided on. Again, including some of the typical things that a lot of other courses use, like WebEx, maybe some more informal platforms like Discord. Feel free to suggest something on your own. I'll put that together based on you all filling out the survey by Wednesday at noon, so we can start that all up on Thursday with the first session of office hours. Again, I'm really looking forward to teaching this class. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions that you have, and I'll see you tomorrow or whenever you follow up with the second lecture video to talk about what is severe and hazardous weather. Thank you.